to the 2017 Rural Women's Award for Western Australia. My name is Bridget Fitzgerald, and I feel like over the past few years I've garnered an intimate knowledge of the fantastic job that our women do in our rural and regional areas through my work with the ABC as a rural reporter. I've worked in Bunbury in the southwest of WA. For the past 12 months I've been across in Gippsland, which was a little chillier, and I've just come back to Perth to start presenting the Country Hour, which is a lovely honour for me because I get to meet women such as those that you guys will meet this evening. I respectfully acknowledge the past and present traditional custodians on this land on which we're meeting, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to acknowledge our distinguished guests, Her Excellency the Honourable Kerry Sanderson, AC, Governor of Western Australia, Minister for Regional Development, the Honourable Alana McTiernan, MLC, and the Honourable Jackie Boydell, MLC, Member for Mining and for the Pastoral Region, the Honourable Lisa Harvey, MLA and Member for Scarborough, and Department of Regional Development Director General, Mr Ralph Addis. Representing our sponsors this evening, Rural Industries Research and Development Corporation Director, Dr William Ryan, Department of Agriculture and Food Principal Policy Officer, Ms Deborah Pett, CBH Chief Executive Officer, Mr Andrew Crane, Westpac Relationship Director, Mr Simon Burke, ABC Rural National Resources Reporter, Babs McHugh. I'd also like to welcome the winner of the 2016 Rural Women's Award, Kaylin Fletcher, and of course our three finalists for this year, Tanya Dupain, Alicia Keppert, and Fleur McDonald. This evening is being recorded and broadcast via Westlink satellite television, so I'd also like to welcome our regional audiences this evening. Once again, welcome to Government House and the 2017 Rural Women's Award for Western Australia. This prestigious award recognises women leaders from across our state who've demonstrated that they've contributed positive change in their own communities and have enormous visions for the future. Thank you to the Rural Industries Research and Development Corporation. They've contributed a $10,000 bursary, which will be awarded to tonight's winner, who will represent WA at the RIRDC Rural Winners Award, and the successful national finalist will receive an additional $10,000 towards their project. Our two runners-up tonight will receive $1,000 towards their personal development. Thank you to the Department of Agriculture and Food for that. We're going to hear more from our three finalists this evening a little bit later. I'd first like to welcome to the stage Her Excellency the Honourable Kerry Sanderson, Governor of Western Australia.
Thank you, and it is indeed a great pleasure to be with you tonight. I'd like to acknowledge Mr Ralph Addis, Director General, Department of Regional Development, the Honourable Alana McTiernan, MLC, Minister for Regional Development, Agriculture and Food, the Honourable Lisa Harvey, MLA, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Mia Davies, MLA, Leader of the National Party, the Honourable Jackie Boydell, MLC, Member for Mining and Pastoral Region, Dr Bill Ryan, Director, Rural Industries Research and Development Corporation, the winner of the 2016 Rural Women's Award and 2017 finalists, distinguished guests all. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Noongar people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. The significant contribution made by regional West Australia and family farmers was something ingrained in me when I was growing up. My father was born in Kunjin near Corrigin in the wheat belt, and his brother remained on the family farm. I'm passionate about our state and the opportunities we have on the national and world stage. One of my aims in my various roles has been to help exporters, because our economic growth as a state is dependent on our exports. I was fortunate to work in 4 different roles in my career which supported exporters. First in Treasury, then as Deputy Director General of Transport, then as CEO of Fremantle Ports for some 17 years, and also as Agent General for Western Australia based in London from 2008 to 2011. One of the highlights of my time as Agent General was a role I played in promoting the excellence of WA science, and particularly promoting our state as a base for the Square Kilometre Array Radio Telescope. I think that we have a proud history in Western Australia of strong and capable rural women, including Edith Cowan, who was born in Geraldton, pioneer botanist Georgiana Malloy, who lived in the southwest, and Shirley Strickland, who grew up in the wheat belt and who won more Olympic medals than any other Australian in running sports. And just last week, I met again with the winner of this award in 2000, Mary Nenke, who is Chair of Farming Champions, as well as on the Royal Agricultural Society Council and the founder of a number of exciting agricultural businesses. These are just a few examples of outstanding rural women, and there are many more outstanding women who have been recognised by these awards in the past. In fact, I understand some 200 since the awards began. This evening, we celebrate 3 remarkable women who've been shortlisted for the prestigious Rural Women's Award. The award identifies and supports emerging women leaders who have the desire, commitment, and leadership potential to make a greater contribution to primary industries and rural communities. It is an acknowledgement of leadership capacity in affecting change and influence through connecting and collaborating, and creates opportunities for women to drive innovation and build resilience. And I think women are particularly good at that collaboration. I understand shortlisting and interviews are conducted in each state and territory, and state winners are then announced at formal state presentation events such as this one. Being a finalist is a great honour, and receiving the award provides an excellent opportunity to further develop leadership. It also links recipients with an alumni network. As well as congratulating and celebrating 3 rural women, we're privileged to have the previous year's winner, Carlin Fletcher, here from Kununurra. Carlin was also runner-up in the National Award. I look forward to hearing from Carlin shortly on her study tour experience in the Cerrado region of Brazil. Once again, I would like to congratulate each of the women shortlisted for this year's Western Australia Rural Women's Award, Alicia, Fleur and Tanya, and thank them for their outstanding contribution to regional Western Australia. Please take the opportunity to be proud of your achievements to date, and I encourage you all to keep progressing with your vision for improving the lives of those living in rural and regional WA. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And might I just add what a beautiful room we're in? I'm just standing there over to the side thinking, concentrate, stop looking at the pretty lights. But it's just a gorgeous room, and I think that we're very lucky to be here this evening to honour these wonderful women. I would now like to welcome to the stage Minister for Regional Development, the Honourable Alana McTiernan.
Thanks very much, Bridget. Your Excellency, the Director General of Regional Development, Bill Ryan from the sponsor of today's program, to my parliamentary or future parliamentary colleagues here today, and to all of the guests that have come along. It's really fantastic to be here. I think this is such a good program. It's not just a certificate. It is rather something, an award that will help women take great ideas and explore them further, and really allow them to enhance and develop their leadership and innovation. And I've said before that one of the great things in the short time that I've been back as a minister after a break from this game and at the state level is to see the change that has occurred over the last 8 or so years, and the number of women really stepping up to leadership roles in the rural sector. Now, we all know that women have always been there, right at the coalface. But what I think is particularly fantastic is to see just the way women now are moving through, not just playing their traditional support role, or what seemed to be the support role, but rather taking up the leadership. And I think it's we are breaking down a lot of barriers in society generally. The concept of what it is that women are good at, what sorts of things that women can do. We are realising that so much more of this is really culturally imposed rather than coming out of some inherent difference. I think just this year, a couple of things that a fantastic film that I hope people have seen, Hidden Figures, which showed the role of African American women working in NASA on computing trajectories for spacecraft. I mean, people just didn't know about this. This just was totally counter to people's perception of what the capabilities of those women will be. And of course, so many of us have been celebrating just the great success of an AFL national women's competition, really again showing that many of the barriers to women have been cultural, and that we can break those down. So I'm really pleased to be here and want to acknowledge some of the past winners. We've had Callan Fletcher. Callan's going to be speaking later, but Callan used her prize money to undertake a study tour of Brazil in tropical agriculture, a very, very important area. I'm really very, very interested in how we can drive agriculture to further really get better economic and job opportunities in regional areas. And very glad to have those portfolios that would allow me to do it. And of course, Catherine Marriott, who was the 2012 winner, who's just been a sensational breath of fresh air in the pastoralism industry, and really I think will make a very, very play a very significant role in modernising that industry so that it really does take up the opportunities of the 21st century. And of course I should recognise also Jackie Jarvis, who has been temporarily posted up in my office and who of course was a winner a couple of years ago and went on to become a national winner for her work in how we can encourage refugees and migrant workers into rural and agricultural pursuits. So guys, fabulous, as I say, to be here. Want to really thank the sponsors, the Rural Industries and Research and Development Corporation, for your support for this award. Want to congratulate the three wonderful finalists and really looking forward to having a discussion with you about how we might be able to help each and every one of you take your great work forward. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Minister. Our next speaker, Dr. William Ryan, is the Director of the Rural Industries Research and Development Corporation, who are the national sponsors of these awards. Please welcome Dr. Ryan to the stage.
It's a great privilege to be here representing RIRDC on this occasion. This is a great program and we're very proud of it. This program doesn't happen just by RIRDC alone. It happens because we have a lot of sponsors and a lot of support. And I'd be very keen to mention our national sponsors, our platinum sponsor, Westpac Agribusiness. We've had a strong relationship with them for a number of years. They've been a great supporter and we look forward to working with them in the future. The Federal Department of Agriculture and Food Resources in Canberra is another major sponsor and a strong supporter. And then we have our media partners, ABC Rural, Fairfax Agricultural Media and RM Williams Outback, and they do a great job in promoting the award. And in Western Australia particularly, I'd like to thank the Department of Regional Development for their significant ongoing support and for their hosting tonight. The other major sponsor we have in Western Australia is CBH, and they, again, thank you very much for your support, Andy. Tonight's about celebrating the achievement of these young ladies and recognising our finalists, Tanya, Elisa and Fleur. Congratulations. Tonight we celebrate your achievements to date and the contributions that you no doubt will make in the future, whether you win the award or not. Enjoy the ride and the recognition. Thank you all for coming to support us tonight and making sure that this 2017 award ceremony is a great success. The Rural Industries Research and Development Corporation Rural Women's Award is a program that the directors and the staff are very proud of and passionate about. It was established 22 years ago by the ABC, and they are still a key sponsor to us. The investment, as the Minister said, not only recognises the talents and the abilities of women as leaders, collaborators and enablers, but it also supports them to develop and use those talents to benefit their industries and their communities. The award creates leaders, and there are a number of them here tonight, who show that. Leadership's fundamental for the health and prosperity of our industries and our communities at all levels. It can come in many forms through driving innovation, entrepreneurship, building resilient and inspiring others. The award crosses all states and territories, and women are required to submit an innovative, impactful project that they've developed and want to take further. Tonight's award will enable the West Australian winner to see her project come to fruition, creating real benefits. Tonight's winner will also represent WA at the National Rural Women's Award dinner in Canberra in September of this year. And I was actually fortunate enough to be sitting next to Carlin last year as the WA winner when she was awarded the runner-up. So it was a great, exciting night. At RIRDC, we've had an exciting 9 months. We have a new Managing Director, John Harvey, who joined us in May, and we're fortunate enough that John's here with us tonight. We have a new Chair, Kay Hull, AM. Her appointment was announced by Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce in September. We've moved the organisation from Canberra to Wagga Wagga, and we're now located on the Charles Sturt University campus. Charles Sturt is the largest regional university in Australia, and it also hosts the Graham Centre for Agricultural Innovation, so it's a great place to work. We've been able to recruit a highly skilled and experienced staff there, and we're now focused on delivering our national mandate from a prominent regional hub. In relation to the RIRDC Award, RIRDC uses all the forms of communication to promote the award and broaden its reach, and I would encourage you, and this is probably a bit stiff coming from me, but to use Twitter and Facebook to follow the journeys of our alumni and our program. On behalf of RIRDC, our board, John, our staff, congratulations to the award entrants and particularly to our finalists tonight. You are inspirational leaders who are making a significant contribution in raising the profile of women in and their contribution to primary industries. We look forward to welcoming many of you, and particularly our winner in Canberra later this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan, and I can maybe run you through Twitter and Facebook after tonight's event so we can get you onto those platforms as well. I'd now like to invite our 2016 winner, Kaylin Fletcher, to the stage to talk about her win last year and also her recent study tour to Brazil, where she learned from their experience in extensive tropical agricultural industry. Welcome, Kaylin.
Welcome everyone, distinguished guests and also the representatives of the amazing sponsors here tonight. Well, as I said, my name's Kaylin Fletcher and I'm from the stunning Ord irrigation area, and I have the blessing of managing RB Desert Seed Company and Hoot Tree Distillery along with my family in this area. But what the Ord irrigation area is blessed with is abundant water, undeveloped land and proximity to emerging markets. So we think we're remote, but I've said it before, we are actually closer to the rest of the population in the world than you fellas down here in Perth. So my passion is tropical agriculture, and I was here last year describing this as tropical agriculture is all primary production in the tropics. It's beef, it's horticulture, it's broadacre cropping, it's all of these industries faced with the opportunities of the tropics and the challenges of the tropics. So with this, I set about a project called Discover, Support and Promote Tropical Agriculture. So for Discovery, I headed to Brazil. Why Brazil? Because they have an enormous, mature, established tropical agricultural industry. So with Brazil, if you can see on the map, I first started to look at, well, where's similar? And so I started with latitude. We need to be looking at an area with similar latitude, similar daylight. That's still a big area, so where further to look? So then we had to nail down rainfall, temperatures. But what Brazil has that we didn't notice is they also have altitude, which gives beautiful microclimates and really cooling effect, which the Kimberley doesn't have. But that's okay. So we narrowed an area called the Cerrado and also the Caatinga region. It's a huge region, lots of area to see. So if you're a girl from the Kimberley, how best to do it but travel 3,000 kilometres by road. So we spent 3 weeks travelling through the Cerrado and the Caatinga region, visiting as many farmers as we could. So 2-acre farmers to 50,000-acre farmers, government bodies, corporate farming, family farming, and learn as much as we could. We visited as many crops as you could think of: soy, cotton, corn, dairy, tobacco, potatoes, onions, you name it, we visited it. So then it was to come back and bring that knowledge to our community. So we've had several radio interviews, workshops with farmers, and I've been all around my local region, shared, lucky there's plenty of cold beer in Kununurra, and shared the stories of Brazil in a casual way directly with farmers as well. But part of the project that I'd like to speak about is the promotional side. And so I guess I discovered that tropical agriculture is not common to everyone, and to get the investment that tropical agriculture needs from our minister here, we had to get all of Australia on board, and so that was to share the rural story with urban people. And how to do that was to try and move away from farmers talking about agronomy, which they love to do. Oh yeah, my crop yielded this and I had this plant population. Yeah, it's easy to talk about, but people in metropolitan areas don't understand it. So to find that link between farming in remote areas and joining it with metropolitan urban people, so I came up with a program called Out of the Ord. And I joined a friend of mine, Tennille, who was a fantastic cook and food blogger, and talked to her husband, Matt Brand, who's the local ABC journalist in the area. I've got photo evidence that it did maybe take a bit of bribery with rum. But we came up with a program with a weekly interview, food recipes on Facebook, so Bill, I'm learning as well, and trying to join a story to connect these areas. And so with that, I think I'd like to spend my few minutes this evening with a small snapshot of what we've been doing with Out of the Ord, and to help you bring to be part of this journey as well.
Hi, I'm Lachlan Dobson. I grow bananas up here in Kununurra with my mum and dad and my brother. Oh, look, the banana is a really good crop grown in the Ord. It produces beautiful sweet fruit, and yeah, it's a staple, I guess. So everybody always pretty much eats bananas. So, and we do. We eat bananas every day. Obviously, as soon as the ripening room's opened, we go in there and have a feed.
G'day, my name's Mark Warmington, and I grow mung beans in the Kimberley's Ord irrigation area with the Department of Agriculture and Food, Western Australia. We're trialling mung beans in the Ord because we think it's got a very good rotational fit, and being an 86-day crop, we can come in and plant another crop afterwards, which gives you a double cropping advantage.
Good day, my name is Suzanne Smith, and I'm farming with my husband Daryl borlotti beans in the Kimberley Ord River irrigation area.
Out of all the things you could grow in the Ord, why do you grow borlotti beans?
It's a premium product, a premium bean, and we've been growing it for the last good 10 years, and there's a demand for it, what is actually growing, and yeah, that's a reason why we're growing it. We enjoy it. It's one very rewarding.
Hello, my name's David Menzel, and my family and I grow chickpeas in the Ord irrigation scheme.
Looking forward, what do you think is next for chickpeas in the Ord?
I think a more user-friendly product will be one. And if I was dreaming, instead of eating all those New Zealand potato crisps with our beers, we'd have a highly flavoured chickpea snack, which is popular in many countries as an accompaniment to our beers.
G'day, my name's Ray Chamberlain and I grow limes in the Ord irrigation scheme in the Kimberleys. We grow Tahitian limes. We put them in around 2009, so they're around 7 years old now and starting to come into full production.
Yeah, hello, my name's Matt Gray and I grow quinoa in the Kimberleys Ord River irrigation scheme. After some trials at the Ag Department over the last few years showing that it could be a viable option in the Ord, quinoa seemed like a good fit. I suppose that's the beauty of the Ord, is that we can adapt to the new latest craze and do it quickly.
My name is Spike Desert. I produce rum in the Ord River Irrigation District in the East Kimberley. Oh, by the way, we're the largest sugarcane growers in Western Australia. For our future, we look at starting to export, and right now we're domestic only with a little bit of sampling going overseas. I don't ever see us knocking off Australia's #1 distillery, but for export, I think we will get there, and I hope to probably get this up to 4 or 5 times the size of what we are today.
Well, thank you. So Your Excellency mentioned this, that export's going to be the key to Western Australia's economy. It's also the key to developing North Australia. And from this program, I'm actually pleased to say we've actually already had direct import inquiries, or exporting inquiries, from Dubai for mangoes and a few other products. So it just shows that a small promotional program can drive economy. So what I'd like to finish with is to thank you for your time this evening. And as I have with every opportunity that I've had to have an audience outside of Kununurra, is to finish with my lasting challenge to you. If you have not been to the Kimberley, if you have not had the chance to witness the potential opportunity of North Australia for yourself, if you've not experienced the overwhelming rugged beauty, then for your next holiday, experience it. I promise it won't disappoint.
Thank you, Kaylin, and I think you've done a very effective job advertisement for Kununurra and surrounds. Cold beer, good food, rum, a view like that waterfall. I don't think you could ask for anything better. We're now going to hear from each of our finalists, who I'll invite up on stage with me. First off, I'm delighted to invite to the stage our first finalist, Tanya Dupain.
Tanya Dupain has driven up from the small town of Coolin in the Wheatbelt, where she manages the nationally and internationally recognised Camp Coolin program. 4 years ago, Tanya saw an opportunity to make a real difference in the lives of the young people in the Wheatbelt, making best use of the Shire of Coolin's recreational and community resources. Thanks to Tanya's drive and determination, Camp Coolin now contributes both to the well-being of young people from regional and metropolitan WA and also the local economy, with around 1,000 participants and 200 volunteers visiting the Shire each year.
I'll stop muttering away up here and actually invite you guys to take part as well now. Now, Tanya, one of the things that I loved about hearing about you, from one of my colleagues actually who interviewed you yesterday, was that you're actually a Perth girl who moved to Coolin. Tell us, why did you fall in love with the area?
So I'm actually from Kwinana initially, and I was running an organisation in Perth, and there was some media coverage, and a lady who lived in Coolin saw it, and she called me up and she said, you have to come here because you have to see what we have. And I'd never actually heard of Coolin before. I had to Google map it to find out where it was, and then went out, had a look, and was absolutely blown away by the facilities in town, and went out and ran a program for the other organisation I was working for, and loved it so much that I didn't want to leave, and they started asking questions about what I would do if they were my facilities, and it kind of all went from there, and that's how Camp Coolin started. So it's an amazing town to be part of. Everyone's been really welcoming, and for the type of program I run, it's the perfect location for that.
I will ask you to explain Camp Coolin in your own words very shortly, but first of all, just, I guess, a little bit like Kaylin was advertising Kununurra there, what is it exactly about Coolin? Why should we all go out there?
Coolin has amazing facilities. There's amazing attractions, things like the Tin Horse Highway. We have the biggest water slide in regional Australia as well, which is a lot of people's inspiration to come out to Coolin. But yeah, just an amazing town that is really welcoming and amazing tourism opportunities there.
So tell us about Camp Coolin, which is what you're here talking about this evening. What is it in your own words, first off?
So we run a number of different programs. We have camp programs open to any child in WA, and a big part of that at the moment is preparing regional children for boarding school. We also have a specialist scholarship camp program, which is for children affected by trauma or torture situations, like kids affected by domestic violence, sexual assault, kids who have been through war zones in countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, now settled back in Australia. We also run school camps, school excursions, and our Rich Mentoring program in Corridon and Coolin district high schools. And we basically teach life skills. So we teach leadership, respect, trust, self-confidence, self-esteem, perseverance, ambition, emotional regulation, and all those skills that kids need to move forward in life.
And as part of what you're here about tonight is that you would like to open this up and create a platform particularly for women. Can you explain how that works and why?
Yeah, so we get lots of requests for people who would like programs to run, and our biggest request is from women who keep saying, when can we come on camp, because we want to do that too. So the program I'm proposing through this award is to run 2 different sets of camps, one for young regional rural women and then one open to any woman who lives in rural WA, with a mentoring program linking the 2 together, and basically to run it the same way we do Camp Coolin, because we know the activities and everything works, but with a leadership component as well, so the ladies can take what they learn back into their communities and implement it.
And why is it so important to have programs like that in regional and rural areas?
So the stats in Australia at the moment are actually really scary. Things like suicide, domestic violence, sexual assault, mental health issues, they're all on the rise. And that's hard enough already, but when you live in a rural area where there's little to no support, then it becomes even harder. So this program will actually teach the skills so that the women are equipped to deal with those situations as they may arise, also incorporating the leadership component as well, so we can support them and make a difference in the community.
Tanya, thank you so much for giving us a bit of insight. We just have a token of our appreciation and congratulations for you this evening. Let's hear now from our second finalist this evening, and I do assure you these are in alphabetical order, so no preferences here. Alicia Keppert.
Alicia Keppert is driven to inspire and develop young people by bringing agriculture into mainstream, metropolitan education and supporting the future of rural industries and communities. As a national leader in the field of agricultural education, State and National President of the Agricultural Teaching Associations and an Education Advisor for the Royal Agricultural Society of WA, Alicia has sought to develop partnerships that lead to better outcomes in both rural and metropolitan WA. With a metropolitan upbringing and farming experience, Alicia has a genuine understanding of the opportunities that could exist if we can better bridge the interface between the agricultural industry and school education system.
Thank you so much for joining me, Alicia, up on stage. And I must just get this out of the way as you go and meet other people throughout the evening. You do pronounce your name Alicia.
Alicia, yes.
Okay, just when you come up and say hello to her later, guys, you can remember. So, Alicia, you identified a disconnect between schooling, particularly in the senior years, and jobs in agriculture. Can you explain what that was?
Yeah, sure. So what we have in the industry is a huge demand for agricultural careers, and we know that the agricultural careers have changed. We know that they're highly technical careers. We know there's an increase in technology, and the jobs are moving more to engineering solutions for agriculture and for managing data. But sadly, that perception of agriculture just isn't reaching young students at all. And the first thing that springs to mind when you mention agriculture, it's still unfortunately driving around in tractors. And my project is really about trying to tap into this huge, wonderful resource we have in young students and show them the potential that an agriculture career can give them.
Why do you think we still have some backwards ideas about what it means to have a job in agriculture?
I think just why I'm here tonight. We need a platform. We need to get this out there. It is an urgent issue. It's an issue that should be a national priority, in my opinion. We have a hugely disconnected population between urban and rural Australia. And unfortunately in the school system, there's lots of good initiatives in the primary school with Stephanie Alexander and food gardens in primary schools. But we see that tends to drop off in secondary school because we become more performance-based, become more subject-based as we head into tertiary study. And we really need to make sure that agriculture is represented in every subject as a context. It is that important, and we need those kids going on to tertiary study because the 7-to-1 demand for agricultural jobs, 7 jobs per graduate, it's only expected to rise, and we need these young people into industry, without a doubt.
And we do know that when it comes to, in particular, farmers or people that are actually growing the food or producing on the land, they're only getting older, and so I guess looking to our schools would help then broaden that out and get maybe younger people excited about it.
Absolutely, and I think that's a slide yesterday in my presentation that stuck with the panel that put up the age in agriculture compared to other industries, and it's stark, and we need to do something about it. And we also need to tell kids that actually there's 85% of the jobs in the industry are actually in the supply chain. They're not on-farm jobs. The reality is most people can't go and buy a farm, and there's a huge potential in all our service industries and in the research, development, technological aspects, and we need to tap into that.
Thank you so much, Alicia, for joining us. Almost sent you away empty-handed. I'd now like to invite our third finalist this evening, Fleur McDonald, when we hear a slight introduction for her.
Joining us from the outskirts of Esperance, where she lives with her partner and 2 children, we welcome Fleur McDonald to this year's Rural Women's Awards. Fleur is one of Australia's leading rural literature authors, drawing inspiration from having lived and worked for much of her life on farms. Fleur already has 10 books to her name, with another one due to be published in November. She also combines her love of agriculture and writing through the monthly column that she writes for Right magazine, an insert in WA's leading agricultural newspaper, Farm Weekly.
Welcome, Fleur. And I must say, oh God, you're an author as well. So many things going on there. I'm quite impressed by you. And one of the things about your project in particular, you want to use the internet to connect women who've experienced domestic violence. Why that particular platform?
Well, I think with domestic violence, especially in rural and remote areas, the isolation for those women are huge. It's not just geographically, it's actually within their own community, because if you talk to somebody, talk to a friend, talk to somebody trusted, and that accidentally gets out within the community, that has a fairly big impact. So the cure for isolation is connection, and with the geographical locations as well as everything else, the web seems to be the place to do it.
And what kind of things do you think would be facilitated by that connection, by connecting these women together?
So what I would like to do is bring all of the services that are offered to these people into one section. At the moment, it's very hard to find services on the internet or within your town. So if we can bring all the services into one area, it takes 1 click or 2 clicks to get there. At the moment, it takes about 10, and sometimes you don't have 10 clicks to be able to do that.
And so this is something that could essentially help facilitate things that are already there but are just not quite working as well as they could be.
So it's just a matter of bringing all the services into one spot. So that's exactly right.
And why is it so important to make sure that these women are connected to those important services?
I think if you don't have the information, you can't make informed decisions. Once the women have got the information, you need to trust them to be able to take what they need. And as soon as they can get informed decisions, then they can make choices.
And tell us, is this something that's, do you think a particular problem in rural and regional areas?
54% of reported domestic violence is outside of the metropolitan area. 1 in 4 rural women will experience some type of domestic violence in their life. And that's only the reportable stuff. Domestic violence itself is not a crime. The crime comes from the assaults. So there are 10 other different types of domestic violence other than physical.
Thank you so much for And can I please ask you all for another round of applause for all three of our finalists this evening. I'm now going to invite Her Excellency the Honourable Kerry Sanderson AC to rejoin me on stage to announce this year's winner.
Yes, an exciting time. So the winner of this year's RIRDC Rural Women's Award is Tanya Dupang.
We'll now invite Tanya to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency, honourable members of Parliament, all the esteemed guests here today. Thank you very much. This is a huge honour that I really wasn't expecting. I would like to thank RIRDC for this opportunity and all the sponsors as well, and all the opportunities that you have provided and all the support you have provided to us, particularly over the last few days. To my fellow finalists, Alicia and Fleur, it's been absolutely an honour to get to know you over the past couple of days, and really love the work you do and looking forward to working with you in the future. Camp Coolin for me has been something that I've been part of for the past 4 years. It's basically been my life for the past 4 years. It's been really exciting to watch it grow. The Coolin community and the Corrigin community have been amazing in the development of the program and their support of it. And I'm really looking forward to being able to introduce the ladies' camp aspect, which is what we so desperately need in the wheat belt. We've got a saying at Camp Coolin that one person may not be able to change the world, but they can change the world for one person. And that's what this is going to enable me to do. So thank you very much.
Congratulations again to Tanya and to our three finalists. That does conclude our formal proceedings for this evening. Thank you so much for all your attendance here this evening. And again, to our sponsors, Rural Industries Research and Development Corporation, the Department of Agriculture and Food of WA, CBH, Westpac, and ABC Rural, and the Department of Regional Development for organising this evening's event. Thank you also to our regional viewers who are watching us via Westlink satellite television. While the official party and the winner and finalists remain for some photographs, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.